usually mention, know your rights and know the law. Do you think we can know all of the labor law at once as an individual, maybe as an employee so in a company? Is it possible we know all the labor law in UAE?
I doubt. I don't think it's possible, except you're a lawyer. That is why it's for learned people. And that is why it's written in a language that not everyone will be able to understand. Except you're a genius and you study. But if you are not in actual practice, it's difficult. You may just read the lines, but you may not understand it because you are not in actual practice. You've not encountered people having problems. So reading the text is different from actual practice. Understanding it. So you need that to really understand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of African Pulse DSB podcast. This episode is coming to you straight from DSD Media Studios, and they are the number one media studio in the UAE. If you need anything, content creation, podcast, whatever you need, contact DSD Media Studio. So today, we have an interesting guest on our show. But first, let me introduce the podcast hosts and hostess. Let me start with the lady that knows all the nooks and crannies in the UAE. If you need anything, if you want to take your spouse, your achalugo, or your odogu to a particular restaurant anywhere in UAE, even if it is Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, Abu Dhabi, Alain, any nice restaurant you need, or anything, if it is fashion, style, trend, anything you need at all, you know who to contact. Her name is Princess AJ. Ladies and gentlemen, Princess AJ.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back to another wonderful power-packed episode.
So with me also is the man that knows a man that knows a man that knows a man that knows a man. And he is the most dragged influencer in the UAE. And he's actually the biggest Nigerian blogger in the UAE. His name is Citizen Oluwatosin. Ladies and gentlemen, Citizen Oluwatosin.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining again this week.
Today we have an interesting topic that we want to discuss, though we have discussed it before, but we needed to bring somebody who has a vast knowledge about this topic, because a lot of us, we are working in this country and we do not know our rights and we do not know what to do, when we enter or when we have, challenges with our employers and also our employees, because most of us also have businesses. So we brought this guest. She is a lawyer and she is residing in the UAE and she's from Nigeria. So, and she has been, I don't know if she's practicing, but she will have to tell us herself. And and one interesting thing I like when I watch her videos on social media is the way she say, know your rights and know the law. My name is Amaka Joy. And let me allow her to do the rest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amaka Joy Akbojewa. I'm from Nigeria. I'm practicing in UAE as a lawyer.
Oh, mashallah. Yeah. Interesting. That's actually a very good place to begin, because as Nigerians, as Africans, we usually think, or there is a mentality in our communities that Nigerians don't get to do a good job in this country. And being a lawyer in UAE, somebody go ask, say, how did it happen? How did you manage to come from Nigeria and become a lawyer in the UAE? Because the jobs that are surrounding us amongst our community, just, it is between barrister, chef, security, sales officer, and the rest of them. But this, is it on the A list? What's the list called on the NOC?
Yeah.
A list. Yeah. That A list, now just few people. It's just few people that are there. So can you run us through your journey, how it started, how you, where you studied, how you came about being a lawyer in UAE?
Okay. Specifically, I studied law in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I moved down to UAE to join my husband. And thereafter, I started practicing in law firms. But I was not registered as a legal consultant with the Dubai Legal Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
I had to practice for about 3 years. And on the 10th of October, 2018, I became licensed by the Dubai Legal Affairs Department as a legal consultant. So Ever since then, I've been practicing as a lawyer.
Oh.
Look at my Emirates ID. It's clearly there. Legal Advisor General.
So that means people can consult you if they have challenges here and there.
Why not? My pleasure, with open hand.
Okay. Another thing we would like to know is it free to consult you?
They play. Content creator, they give free consultation. Lawyer doesn't give free consultation.
In the UAE and in Dubai, nothing is.
Okay.
In Dubai, it's do and buy.
It's not about- But actually, sincerely on my own, I grant free consultations.
Okay.
Those I think they really need it.
Mm.
I do that.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I went onto social media, to help people that I cannot reach out to.
Mm.
But publishing my number there, I know I'll get a lot of calls that may distract me from. I sincerely want to help people. And
Okay.
people that they've had one or two contact with me, maybe peradventure we got chatting on TikTok or any of the social media platforms, and I'm able to see their message. I respond to them because I know they're in distress and they really need a solution.
Mm.
Sometimes it's free, not always.
I mean, you have bills to pay, so
Of course. Okay. So there is something that it is general amongst us. No matter how educated we are, we still cannot interpret the law. And in UAE, labor is one thing they hold very strongly. And also the labor law. I don't read, I don't tire. I've read it so many times. And as I know that no matter how educated I am, I know that I need somebody, a lawyer, an actual lawyer who is practicing to interpret it. So do you think, because you usually mention know your rights and know the law, do you think we can know all of the labor law at once as an individual, maybe as an employee in a company? Is it possible we know all the labor law in UAE?
I doubt. I don't think it's possible, except you're a lawyer. That is why it's for learned people. And that is why it's written in a language that not everyone will be able to understand. Except you're a genius and you study. But if you are not in actual practice, it's difficult. You may just read the lines, but you may not understand it because you are not in actual practice. You've not encountered people having problems. So reading the text is different from actual practice. Understanding it. So you need that to really understand.
So all this already they tell us, if you have issues with your company and you speak with your friend will just tell you, go to labor and complain. You might not even know what you are going there to complain about. So you just go fear and complain like that.
Of course. Why not? More protects the rights of every employee and even the employers. If you go to More, for example, if you find it difficult to interpret or understand any law or text related to labor, you can call More. Even without having a complaint, you can call them. More is the Ministry of
Labor.
Let me just call it Ministry of Labor so everyone would understand. So you call them and they would interpret, this is what is happening. This ought to be your rights. So it's very easy. If you don't understand, call More, the legal and complaints department. They would explain to you what it is.
Okay, so at what point do we need a lawyer?
If you ask me, I'll say every time in your life. Now, people confuse lawyers only when problems arise. And that's a mistake which most people, they make.
That's true.
They think it's, for example, you are signing a contract with your friend. You ought to give to a lawyer to check, or you are purchasing a property, you are having one or two deals. You ought to give to a lawyer to review what it is you are doing. But most of the times we neglect that part. And it's when the problem arises, you realize you signed what you ought not to sign. And then it's late. You have your employment contract. You have certain things written there against your rights. You don't consult a lawyer. Then, at the end of the day, or you have an issue with your employer, you signed a document, or maybe discarding your rights or maybe your gratuity, you acknowledge you have, I talked about this several times, you have received this gratuity. Meanwhile, you haven't received it. Your employer will say, no problem, sign. I will pay you 5,000 dirham tomorrow, come and take. And you say, yes, acknowledge I've received my gratuity. He may even tell you, I'll pay you tomorrow. I'll pay you in the next 1 hour. So at that instance, you should know what to do. A lawyer is important in every facet of life, especially when it comes to commercial and even labor.
Okay. So we need to go deeper on this one now because there are a lot of things going on in this UAE, right? And not just UAE, I mean, generally. But now, in UAE especially, people get to sign. Let's take, for instance, they give them offer letter. We get the first offer letter that is from the company that is not regulated. And then we read it, it's nice, we sign. Then we get another offer letter from labor. Does that offer letter carry everything that we need to know regarding the contractual agreement between the employee and the employer?
Okay, now let me go back. Your first question about you having an offer letter. You have an offer letter, it may have certain personal, the labor template is a standard template.
Okay.
Which everyone generally uses. But the other, I will call it the secondary contract, or let me call it the primary because that's the genesis.
What comes first?
What comes first? So you all sign, it is binding in as far as you have signed, your employer has signed. For example, in that offer letter, you had maybe a salary of 5,000 dirhams. And if in the labor contract, your employer puts 3,000 dirhams, if you started receiving 3,000, it's your duty to complain that this wasn't our agreement. But if you sign on the labor contract that your salary is 3,000, you open your eyes. In the offer, your salary was 5,000. You saw the labor contract,
3,000.
It's 3,000, and you signed. It means you acknowledged.
So this, I don't want us to go too further. So in this case now, the labor contract becomes more binding than the offer letter.
No. When it comes to salary, especially, the labor contract is the key.
That's the only.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. But other arrangements between you and your employer, for example, you're entitled to accommodation, your working hours is days from. It will not be specified in the general labor template or whatsoever. But in that other contract, you could agree, okay, you're entitled to a trip to UK every year. That's binding on you and your employer.
Okay, I have a question just within this confines. Now, for example, I've met, because I do project management, and I've dealt with a few employers who come up with this idea and tell you they don't want to give you an offer letter because there is a labor contract. Now, for somebody who's just coming into UAE, is it okay for you to go ahead to sign a labor contract without an offer letter?
It's okay. In as far as the labor contract specifies your salary, your work duration, everything, and there is nothing maybe specially agreed by you and your employer. For example, like I mentioned, you are entitled to
maybe a trip
to UK every year.
Yeah.
That was your negotiation in the interview. But of course, it will not be there in the labor contract.
So isn't it not safer to have both? Because now, for example, you say the flight ticket to UK yearly is not going to be in the labor. So I can't bring it up anywhere because it's not there. I didn't sign it. So it's much safer, you're saying, to sign both.
Yes. Okay. If there is something not in the labor, not stipulated in the labor contract, but was agreed by you and your employer, then you should sign that.
Okay, makes sense. So if you're watching and somebody promises you they want to give you the moon and the stars in your interview, make sure they put it in your offer letter because the moon and the stars will not come in your labor contract. So you have both. In case there's a problem, you have both tenders to give to someone like her to assist you with. Thank you for that.
And something I would love to say, most persons, they don't get to view their labor contract. It's when issues arises when they look at their labor contract, oh my God, it's 2,000, but we have at the end of the day, the gratuity will be based on what's on the labor contract. So it's important, if you don't have a copy, contact More, or you can get it from their website.
Yeah.
Always get it.
Is it okay now, coming from the angle of an employer, is it legal for an employer to not give their employee a copy of the labor contract?
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
You ought, an employee ought to have a copy of the signed labor and even
The offer letter.
Actually, the way it works here, they are supposed to give you offer letter, pre-contract, and contract. Then you sign them accordingly. And when you sign, you have a copy to yourself. Then you give them one signed copy. So that one signed copy is what they will use to get your labor card at the end of the day.
So for emphasis again, because the whole idea of this particular conversation is for us to learn. If you're given an offer letter and your employer does not give you a labor contract, you have every right to ask for the labor contract copy so that you know what you're doing. Like, especially with gratuity, it's usually you sign X amount on your offer letter and there's X amount on your labor contract. So guys, pay attention.
Or you call more if your employer refuses to. Just to be sure. Because some employers are also tricky. They may give you something else.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's not what's actually registered in labor. So call labor, you go to the website or the app, download it yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
The attested one is usually on a
on the
UAE
app.
pass.
Yeah, on UAE
pass.
pass.
You get it on
Everyone
UAE pass on
can
Moodle.
have it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So now, lawyer Amaka, what we are advising us and our friends that are watching is, even if currently perhaps someone have not seen their labor contract before, they can go on their UAE Pass app on their phone and they can have access to the labor contract. And it is very important everyone sit down and read what is on their labor contract. Not only because of their salary are being paid now, but when they will eventually resign and on their gratuity, how to calculate their gratuity, what their entitlement are. Great.
I have a follow-up question. So, in the labor, I remember when the first time I came to Dubai and I know how to read, at least I went to primary school. So I was given this labor contract and there were so many clauses, preambles and so many clauses. Now, as somebody who has encountered labor contracts, different types of labor, because I want to believe every kind of job with its own kind of labor contract. Are there specific columns or clauses that we should look out for, irrespective of what kind of job you're doing? Like when you get that labor contract, check for clause A, clause B, something like that. Are there specific clauses you want people to pay attention to?
Yes.
Please, do you mind sharing?
Actually, number one, I would say, is the position.
Okay.
It's key. If maybe you all agreed, for example, I'm a lawyer, that's our agreement, and maybe you put receptionist. Except it's something maybe we both agreed upon, probably due to your
circumstances,
quotas and all.
Okay.
So it's important to be sure that the same position mentioned, in all of the positions, they are great.
True.
And that would, of course, help in future. You never can tell. No, for example, you are making a golden visa.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a specific criteria to make golden visa as a professional in the UAE. You must have practiced for a certain period of time. So without that, you cannot
proceed.
So you need to show evidence that this act is actually your visa. For example, I'm a lawyer. Maybe in my previous visas, I had another designation. It would not be possible.
Okay, to prove that you have practiced for this number of years.
So especially if you're a professional, it's important to check, or you're a manager, you should make sure that the position, your designation is properly specified in your labor contract. Except it's otherwise agreed by you and your employer. Your position is important. The salary, the negotiated salary, you must be sure it aligns with what's written on your labor contract, like we previously mentioned. Also, importantly, you should check your work duration. Your work duration.
True.
How many hours you are working, from which day to which day. I think these are the three most important in the employment contract template of More. Those are the important things.
So
others are standard clauses to protect both employers
and employees.
But these are very, very important.
So position, salary, and work duration. When you talked about position, I smiled in my heart because for some weird reason, I have been very dogged about not having anything I don't want on my visa. I remember when I was employed and the lady was going to put waitress. I said, "No, I'm not a waitress. You employed me as a supervisor. I need it on my visa." And she kept saying, I don't. I said, "You will have any day you have. Give me visa." You understand? But if you don't have, it's okay. And when I was going to travel out the first time, that was one of the things they looked out for, and they gave me that visa. So thank you for highlighting that point, because now it makes sense that I wasn't over asking for what I should have asked for. So by guys, position, sit down on top,
Yeah,
hold it
it's
strong.
important. For example, if you want to travel to most countries,
Yeah.
and you want to prove that you've actually worked in the UAE, most of the time they'll say, okay, provide your visa copy, and it's
Yeah.
another designation. Cannot claim you're a teacher and what's written there is
Security guard.
security. Exactly.
You know,
And you said you're a teacher.
we had
So
one staff.
these are
They
important.
employed him as a waiter, and he had kitchen helpers on
On his
his
visa. And they will write it, these days, they write it boldly on your Emirates ID.
Every other day that guy will be crying, "I'm not a kitchen helper." But thank you so much
So
for
it's
that.
important. Otherwise,
Yes.
if you have maybe another negotiation with your employer, and for example, you're a teacher and to quota or other
Yeah.
reasons,
Yeah.
you should have it in writing that this would be your position specified in your employment contract. So at least you have the stamp of the company. Prove that
Okay.
This is
this
what
is your actual position in case you want to use it
some.
in future.
I have a follow-up question to that. So, for example, someone, because usually this labor contract comes 2 years. I mean, minimum is 2 years, if not free zone. So, if, for example, someone gives you,
All at
2 years now.
Now, yeah.
That's amazing. So, if, for example, someone gives you, say, that kitchen helper I was talking about, because that was what was available at that time, but your actual position in the company, say, for example, let's keep it close, a waiter. Is it possible in between your contract to change it once the company gets an opening for a better quota? Is it possible?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's possible for
That
that to be changed. And ensure it's also, of course,
reflective on your. Okay, that's amazing. That is very. Thank you so much, because I mean I didn't even know there was a possibility of having to change your.
So,
No,
Yeah.
initially, you can agree, but you discuss with your employer.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's-
as
when the
times are
quota,
going.
then you change.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you so much.
So, okay, ask your question.
And lawyer, there's something that is usually bothering our community people. We have had instance when probably I'm live on live stream and people joined. What is the visa update? Can I change company now? And I'm encouraging people, don't change your company now, but because probably you might not get visa and all of that. And they complain that where they work currently, they are not being paid. Their employer are owing them salary. Is it allowed in UAE for employer to be owing employee salary 2 months, 3 months, or more?
It's
And
not.
it's not allowed. Good. Now, how can people, our friends that are watching, how can those people in that kind of situation, their employers are owing them, how can they go about this problem to make sure that they inform the law, or how can they solve this problem so that the employer pays on time?
Okay. Delayed salary, I think, is a major issue faced by employees in the UAE.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, most employees, they don't know their rights.
Mm.
Most employees, there's something I want to talk about, but probably later. Some employees, maybe they agreed with their employer a certain amount, and even the employer has a copy of their ATM cards. So they are paid a certain amount, but the employer takes the ATM card and withdraws whatsoever and gives them the balance. So maybe probably later I'll talk on that. It's a different the late salary. It's a major problem faced by employees in the UAE. How do you resolve this? First and foremost, write to your employer. You should have at least the email of your manager or even WhatsApp. By Salah, have that written proof that you've not been paid. You should have your pay slips. You have not been paid. Then, after requesting from your employer to pay your salary, if there's no response based on you, depends on you. Because ordinary as per law, your salary should not exceed 15 days from its due date. the law says 15 days. So if you receive your salary on the 30th, after 15 days of the next month, if it's not paid, then it's delayed.
Okay.
So try to talk to if they don't respond positively, then you contact the Ministry of Labor. That's more. Contact them, speak to whosoever the representative. They will advise. They will also put a call across to your employer to pay. At the end of the day, if your employer does not pay, that becomes an issue. But your employer is mandated to pay. If you are facing issues with your employer after requesting, ensure that you go to Mori to make a complaint. Don't just resign. Say, I'm resigning because you did not pay my salary. No. Register a complaint with Mori for the delayed salary and wait for their decision. And if eventually you want to cancel because of this, you also need to inform Mori as well. So,
Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
because I have been a very...
You don't go through a lot.
Go deep, go deep. Go deeper, mommy.
Say, I'm gonna say it's a bit emotional for me, but I wasn't going to say it, but I think I owe that man this much. I worked for a company. Unfortunately, I cannot call the name of the company, but anybody that watches video will know the name of the company. And we went as far as 3-4 months, no salary. Now, they were not making visas, they were not paying salaries. And the reason was not because we were not making money. No. Because I was part of management, so I can categorically tell you that there was no month that went by we didn't make up to 1.8 million dirhams. We're making money, good money. No salary, no visa. Okay. Now, a few of us who had the audacity and guts went to Mori to complain. They did come to the office. They came to the place where I was working and they asked questions. Like they asked several staffs, is this true? And we all said, it's true. But to my greatest surprise, nothing happened. Now, this company is a company that has been in the UAE for the last 10 years, and this has been their practice. It is not now. They didn't start it yesterday. For the last 10 years, they've been like this. So already in the system in Mori, if they type the name of the company, they have, if not complain, 100+ complaint from several staffs that have passed through the system and out. But they're still...
Okay, now let me tell you the reason for that. I'm not defending Mori,
Okay.
but I would in law, there's what they call you have to provide your evidence. Evidence is very important. In this case, first and foremost, you were working illegally, so you are not recognized.
No, what if you had visa in between? So
With the company.
Yes. So for example, it was a case of, let's say we have 100 staff, okay? And they provided visa for 20. The remaining 80 did not have visa.
Okay.
They will pay the 20.
The 20 salary, we are not also receiving salary. Like the whole 100 and receive salary. For clarification.
When I go through a lot.
100 over 100.
Huh? I mean, a lot go through me.
One thing I've established from your responses now is that it is always good to have evidence. Your company is not paying you salary. It is not a time to fight your manager or fight your arbab. No. First of all, make sure you draft a message or an email sent to that your arbab asking for your money. Now you have been able to establish a communication and an evidence that you are owing me. Where is my so month salary? Now your boss will now respond, I will pay you so date. Now you have evidence to go and present to labor. Not be saying you go just go labor. My company have not paid me in the last 5 years. See my bank account. I only have 5 dirham there. That is not enough evidence. And if you are working with a company that do not make your visa, that's another problem. Because
although that doesn't mean you cannot go to Mori to report directly, because they have the WPS system. They can see who has been paid and who has not been paid. But why it's important to write to your employer, it's good to have an amicable, of course, it's a company you are working
Yeah,
with.
Yeah, okay.
You have that relationship.
yeah.
Try to settle
To
things.
settle things amicably before proceeding to. So at least you know their defense.
No, 4 months. 4 months. You think we have not been
No, for that, 4 months is too much.
Oh,
4 months is too much.
because there's no way inform, and it's not like
4 months is too much.
Now this is the complaint of some people also. They will say they have complained to labor, they have complained, but nothing is coming up. Do you think it is because they did not put their case right?
Most of them they did not present their case properly. Now I know of several cases in which these employees, just like I mentioned about ATMs and all of that,
Okay.
they were working with a company, the salary is specified there. Okay. The ATM is with the employer. They are aware that is the employer who has their ATM and bank details. Everything. The employer is the controller. They don't even have evidence in writing showing that it's the boss actually controlling or managing the card or the bank account. First is wrong because if the boss uses that to commit crime, it's
yeah.
that's a different story for I don't want to talk about that. But let's go to labor. Now the boss is managing the account. On labor system, WPS is showing clearly that payment is being made
Back to back
So you cannot expect More
to act on that.
because it's showing on the More system that payments are being made to you monthly.
Okay,
I
so
have a question. Wait. Because you never experienced this thing. Calm down. I have a
It's not
question.
personal.
Very personal. Personal. Because that thing put me back. I have a question. Is it possible? Because now you're saying this is beginning to make a lot of sense. Could it be? Is it possible? Now, this might not be lawful, but like as a person from your observation, is it possible that a company could be remitting money into a specific account, into the WPS, and on Maury's portal is showing that every employee is being paid,
Unknowing to
whereas the
employees.
employees don't get the money? Is it possible?
Yes, and that's about the question I want to
Now,
ask.
waiting this company, they do us.
So when this person
Street.
says they went to
Because there's
labor
no
to
way they can be
complain,
running for 10 years and they're not like they're. It's
This
not
one
now
has three
it's
too.
making sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things are
It's
happening.
making
A lot of
sense.
things are happening, and that's the question I wanted to ask before he asks his own question.
I have one more question before you talk. No
This
verse.
one has three too.
No
That's
verse.
things, but the first thing,
Because you don't understand to work for 4 months and not get
it's
paid.
painful. It's painful, especially in this country. No. It's
I have one last question. I will keep quiet. I'll let them. Is it lawful? Is it binding if in an organization people come together and sign a petition against the CEO to say he or she has not been paying them salary? Is that a legal tender if a lawyer takes it up?
yeah, that's a class action under the UAE.
But
But there must be, I think, 50 or 100 employees.
don't worry
to
about
sign
it.
a
About
class
the number.
action.
Don't worry.
Yes, to sign a petition together. Yeah.
50 or 100 is okay.
Should be 50 or so. I can't get this specific.
Is okay.
you want to start writing petitions.
It's okay. Continue.
Sorry. Do you mean 50%?
No, 50
people.
employees. Yeah.
Employees.
No, about companies.
A class like
The class
a
action.
action.
Mm.
If, for example, we are 5, 10, 15 or 20, we cannot just come. It has to be separate.
But what if
to that?
What if the company
It's
staff is not up to
yeah,
date?
that's my
You can register separately.
okay. Register the complaint separately.
Instead of a
Yeah.
class action. So a class
At the
action
end, you are registering with labor. At
Yeah.
the end, it's showing that
is
10
one
people,
company is
10 people
complaining.
from this company
is complaining.
So it's saying, but for you to sign only one petition with
It's
has-
50
it has
people.
to.
Now that class action, is it taken seriously here in UAE?
Yes, of course.
Bagam. And when in case the employees win, usually what used to come out? What is the ego
Compensation.
that
There will
the
be
compensation
sanctions.
that prota-
The company will be sanctioned and the employees will be entitled to their benefits as per law.
Actually, UAE.
People of
Actually,
my
UAE.
country, it's good to know your rights.
UAE frown a lot to employers not paying their employee. UAE does not permit that at all. But you know, some employers are notorious.
Yeah.
And they have been in the system for a while. and they know all the
Nooks and
loopholes.
crannies.
They know the desperation of people coming to the country about to be stranded also.
Mhm.
Say during amnesty, some company go to Alawi
To employ people.
to employ people, and we're giving them very shitty salary because they see these people do not have money to regularize their stay, and so they will just tell them, you want to go home? Well, we can give you a job. And they employ them en masse at that point, and they were giving them unbelievable amount of salary, put them in accommodation that were not conducive. And so some employers, they know the system, and they take advantage of the loopholes in the system. But UAE does not permit that
it.
at
They
all.
don't. They don't. That is why most employees will say, I've complained to labor, nothing happened. They'll tell you that I've complained to Ministry of Labor several times, nothing happened. That I complained, my company has not paid me 6 months salary, and at the end of the day, labor said, you have been paid salary. How? So these are the things, because your employer is controlling your bank account,
There are lots of
controlling your ATM.
there are lots of loopholes.
And
What
you
I'm
don't
seeing.
have evidence that you if you have evidence in writing showing clearly that you are aware, of course you signed the bank opening, you have those, then you have it. You should present it and say, no, as at this time, it's my employer controlling this bank account. They did not grant me access.
Is that not even illegal?
It's illegal. That's
Me, I don't even know the law. I know it's illegal.
It's criminal.
It's
It's
illegal.
crime. So, Mike, the question I've been wanting to ask is this:
Please ask.
there are lots of discrepancies. There are lots of notorious employers that practice all kinds of
Jaga jaga.
wuru
Let me give
discrepancies.
you an example.
Okay.
It's, of course, we know, when I say this on social media, maybe TikTok, your employer ought not to pay for visa.
Yes,
When you mention it's a lie.
exactly. Yeah, people come for me for that. They tell me all the time that you have to pay for your visa. Yeah,
It's not possible. You're just saying what is not working in the UAE. You're just reading text. You know how many times I've paid for my visas? Oh, really? Now, the law provides that a Ministry of Labor safeguards the rights, protect the rights of employees in that instance. But again, it goes back to evidence. You paid for visa, but your employer issued you a document saying you took a loan. So how do you want the Ministry of Labor
To fight
to
for it.
settle that.
to settle that? So at the end of the day, it doesn't mean Mori does not protect the rights of the employees.
They are actually protecting the rights based on the evidence.
Based on the evidence. But some employers, they use this to...
Actually, once we finish this podcast, we need to sign a contract. Because I don't trust the people.
So now my question is this: yeah,
But this has been a very enlightening section so far.
Before, when the employer employs the employee, right? Most of them, the notorious ones, especially because we are going deep now. We are going deep into the wahala. The notorious ones, they usually do everything behind the employee's back behind the employee. So from offer letter from More, from pre-contract to contract, everything goes behind the employee. And thus,
some even sign on behalf of the employee.
That's what I'm saying. So and like that, they will also, have the necessary documents. And of course, some of them don't give them. They withhold the international passport of the employee, withhold the Emirates ID and every other document that is supposed to be in the possession of the employee. They will hold it. So now that will now also enable them to be able to open bank accounts. So my question is, what can one do when you got a job and you are legal all of a sudden without signing any document? You are just legal and you are working with the company. That's the question.
What
can the employee do if these notorious employers do all they need to do for the employee without the employee's consent, without the employee signing any of them?
And you continued working, it means you consented to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Become legal if you don't go through medicals. So at that point when they're sending you to medical, why won't you ask questions?
who will you ask? That's the question I'm asking her.
So you accepted it. That's why you went for medicals.
Yeah.
Everything was processed. It means your labor contract has been processed for you to go for medicals.
Yeah.
Everything is in place. So you should ask questions.
Let me say something on that too.
Mhm.
UAE authority also understand the irrational behavior of some employers. And that is why they have made some of these things available on our mobile apps. Anyone that is employed, get a visa, don't know their labor contract and all that, and they have asked their company, and their company is not providing for them, they can check on their mobile phone on UAE Pass. Is there. So if your boss is hiding it from you, you have it on your home palm now. You can read it, print it out, read it.
You don't cross go front.
Okay.
Yeah, because
We see the under.
listen,
You go, okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
go
make I
ahead,
ask,
go
make I elaborate my question.
Okay.
Yeah. Companies, they employ people,
Mm.
and the person will just see that he has started working. They
Mm.
will do all the necessary documentation without the consent of the employee.
Which
yeah,
documentation?
that's the question.
They will sign the offer letter.
Mm.
They will sign the pre-contract.
Mm.
These notorious companies, they will sign the offer letter,
Mm.
pre-contract, and the contract without the consent of the employee.
Mm.
The employee will not sign anything. The employee will just be receiving.
What I'm saying, in case they have done all that, me now as an employee,
Mhm.
my company has done all that for me.
Mm.
I now have the chance to go and see what is in my labor contract by myself. And if anything is there that I don't like or is not in our agreement, I can now challenge my.
You're actually
Who
going
Who
far.
signed? Who signed?
No, you're going too far.
Now
Yeah.
that's the next part I want to go to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you have started working with a company. First, you working with a company, of course, you know you should have had a labor contract for you to be working. For you to have a visa, you've already processed. So you working, it means you have consented.
Okay.
Now going to the next stage, you called More or through the app, through UAE Pass, you got your labor
The
contract.
contract. Mm.
Looking at this labor contract is totally different from what you and the company negotiated.
And it is not your signature.
And it is not your signature.
Mhm.
After then, you can then raise a first is criminal in nature against your employer
Okay, great.
because they impersonated
You.
you.
Good.
So you have a right to make a complaint to More
Mm.
as well as the police.
Oh.
It's criminal.
But can I say something? Because now we have to be logical with how we're reasoning this whole thing. There is no way, and I still stand, there's no way you will get a visa, emit ID, and you will not go through medicals.
Yeah, sure.
So at that point, you're going to medical. Why won't you ask,
Yeah,
what am I
that's why
coming here
that's
to
why I
do?
said you
No,
consented at the end. for you
at
to
that
start
point, what they
working.
do is they will just send you the copy of your visa.
Yes, so you
That
actually
your
you ask
visa-
question. Now you tell them I don't want to go for medical because I did not sign anything with you.
Another thing is,
It's not how it's
No,
supposed to be.
that's what it depends on people. People may just consent. Aliwale.
Mm.
Let me just continue.
yeah,
working.
desperation.
Desperation, they just want to process. Okay, let me just do that.
No,
But at the end of the day, check with More. If it's against what you discussed,
No, but on a second thought, coming from what you've said now, because I'm trying to understand this thing now, I'm taking away sentiment. If a police officer, if you go to report to the police officer or the police or you go to Mori and you say the signature on your offer letter, your labor contract is not yours, but you've gone for medical, won't they ask you how did you get to medical if you did not sign?
no, they will not ask.
They will not ask you
They will
that.
not ask.
For
Okay.
medical, you only
I
need visa.
have someone who signed. That was before, and I believe that's also the reason why Labour is implementing this
UAE
OTPs
pass.
now
Okay.
verification
Mm.
for you to sign to be sure. Okay, this is
You.
this is you. This is, although I still no employer.
Mm.
They will still
They go still run am.
they will still at the end of the day. So you signed, or let me say your employer signed. It's not your signature. At the end of the day, it's not your signature. You can report to the police. You can make a complaint. Even Labour will advise you to also register a criminal complaint
Mm.
against your employer. But if you accept, if maybe, for example, you accepted it, okay, you both agreed on 5,000, and actually in your contract there, it's 5,000 written, and you accepted it, there is nothing against your intent in the labor contract. If you accept it, good. You continue working. But if you don't accept it, it is right that you raise a complaint at that stage to Mori, and even you can, if maybe the argument, if your employer is not consenting to you actually signing your official signature, you can raise a complaint. That's impersonation.
Okay, this same question, now let me bring it to salary part, because you just mentioned that some companies, notorious employers, they will get a copy of your ATM and be doing a lot of discrepancies.
I didn't know people were even signing contract for people. This is my first time.
In most cases, they will not sign. They will use thumbprint.
Oh, thumbprint.
A lot is happening. Don't worry. So if you think your own is going through a lot of people are inside a lot. So about the salary on that, employees will complain, and at the end of the day, in the system, it is showing that everything is okay from our end. So what is your complaint about? Now, what can one do in that situation? Because yeah, I know it is evidence, but how I to get the evidence now? How do I get the evidence?
About maybe I will teach that in my specialized classes.
Okay.
About I don't want to say it in the open.
Okay.
Nice.
Because when you say this in the open, employers
they will go and adjust
loopholes. They will go and
so that would be like specialized class for that.
Okay.
If you are paying for visa and your employer is making it a loan, there are ways
you can consult
evidence.
lawyer Amaka to help.
There are ways to go about this.
Okay.
Passport, the same thing. So those are, at the end of the day, you need evidence. It's important because without evidence, it's clear on labor system that nothing is wrong. And you cannot blame them. You cannot blame Mori. You can't.
Okay, so now this matter, we might have to bring you again though, because it's deep. It's really deep. Now, at what point? Okay, you have answered that question, but I still need you to throw more light on it. At what point should an employee raise a complaint? And can an employee bend, if something happened right now, just look and say, I'm not ready to raise a complaint. Can they raise a complaint next year?
Okay. Now, previously, you have 1 year duration to raise a complaint.
Okay.
But now it's been extended to 2 years.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yes. Extended to 2 years. So you can raise a complaint within that
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years duration.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, you have unpaid gratuities, you can still raise the complaint. But be sure you have your evidence. Otherwise, labor will not support.
Okay.
Let's ask question for the employer also. I mean, it'll be like say they against the employer. Now, my question is this: when you, as an employer, you employ someone, and there's this duration of probation, right? I want to be clear: is it 3 months or 6 months? What is the legal probation period?
Okay, as per law, probation period is from 1 to 6 months. Okay. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 6.
Okay, so but it falls within that umbrella of 1 to 6 months.
It should not be more than 6
months,
and it cannot be served twice. Or you cannot finish 6 months and your employer will say, no, continue. You are still in probation.
Okay.
It has to be from 1
to 6 months.
That's the duration of probation.
How do we track it?
It depends on it will be written in your employment contract or your labor contract.
Is it from the labor contract or from the offer letter?
Finally, it depends on
contract.
The labor contract.
So you have to check what duration is your probation period under your labor contract.
Last question inside that one. Because usually they say it's when the visa comes out, that's when you start to count. Not when the labor contract comes out.
No, it starts from the date of the employment contract.
Which is the labor contract. Yeah. Okay. Because I think I've had an encounter where we were dragging that it should be when the visa came out and not when the person signed.
No, so except maybe you agreed on maybe future employment start dates.
Okay.
Okay.
For example, maybe the employees outside the country. It's
Okay.
okay. The work officially starts
Okay.
When I
on the
Okay.
date.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, it starts counting from the date of the.
Do you, as an employer, in the course of probational period, you decide you don't want the service of your staff anymore? Do you get penalized when you let go of that employee?
No, you don't get penalized. The only thing you need to do, you need to pay. You need to give 14 days notice.
So you
And
give the employee 14 days
Yeah.
notice with pay
14
or
days
without pay?
with
With pay.
you
Okay.
must pay.
Okay.
14 days notice. That's 14 days notice in advance. For example, you want to, if, for example, today's 30th.
Yeah.
So on the 14th of September, will be the final working day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
But if you don't want the employee to work, no problem. Just pay the employee salary for those
that's 14
days.
days. Okay. Now, because we're here for the employee, sorry, we go back again to the employee now. If you are in between your probational period, let's say the company says for them it's 3 months and you want to leave the job, do you get penalized to pay the company back the visa money they have done for you? And how long do you need to give them your duration to leave the job?
Okay. Now, talking about that, it's different on the employee side. There are some conditions
Okay.
specified by law and lawmakers to protect, of course, both the employers and the employees.
Mm.
On the employee side, if you want to resign during probation, you should give your employer 30 days advance notice if you want to remain in the UAE and work for another employer.
Okay.
Okay.
If you want to remain in UAE.
Yes. But if you want to
Leave.
exit, you should give 14 days notice.
Okay. Do you pay
But if you
for
come back within that period, now, yeah, still on that. If you come back, maybe you exited and you came back within 3 months, then your new employer should pay your old employer your recruitment cost. So it's the new employer that actually pays. If you call Ministry of Labor, there's like the employers. I think this protects the employers. If you call Ministry of Labor, there's a number in which if you want to register a complaint against an employee that resigned during probation and is working for
Another
another
company.
employer. So the new employer has to pay the old employer.
what if you're not exiting, you're inside? That payment still goes to your new employer
Then it should not work. But once you begin to work,
No, I'm saying you give 1 month notice, right? And then your 1 month elapses and you want to work for another person. Do you pay your old employer?
if you work within 3 months.
If you work, so the stipulated time is within 3 months.
3 months.
Okay. Still on employer. Can an employer file a complaint against employee?
Why not? Everybody.
Sure.
They do it every weekend. Every weekend, market day.
And they give people abscond now.
Every weekend, market day.
Both parties, they have the right. Employee is not working well, employee absconded, employee this, is in breach, disciplinary actions. For example, the employee it's under suspension. The employer should notify Ministry of Labor. Maybe they're having disciplinary actions. The Ministry of Labor should be notified. Dismissal, the Ministry of Labor should notify. Employee not found, you should notify. So
Now, this might be my second to last question.
Don't worry, we are here. It's your
My
question.
second to last question. Coming from the angle of the disciplinary action, again, I've always been in management, so I get to set people notice. I want to know, so that I don't go and do the one that cash me inside my bum. I want to understand, is it if someone has passed the 6 months probation, now they're automatically a full-time staff of the company, is it okay for the company to give them disciplinary action when they go against the code of conduct for that company without having to report to Mori?
now it depends on what particularly
The offense committed.
Yeah.
Okay.
the offense committed, and should I say the severity of
Okay.
the offense. Most policies is important, especially for big companies, to always get your policy approved by Mori. So when implementing it, nobody would
Ask
challenge,
questions,
this is-" because so many persons they write on big grammar in employment policy. If you come late, we'll deduct your full salary. That's not rational.
Okay. So as an owner of a company, it is advisable for you to run your policies
through
through
labor.
Yeah, just get them to approve. But if
That
it's just
safeguards you
minor
also.
policies, you can run it on your own.
Okay.
But if it has like severe punishment, you need to be sure that labor approves of
Yeah.
this.
But that minor policy that you can run on your own, employees can challenge it too, yeah?
They can challenge it, but if it's normal, if it's like you shouldn't come late to work. If you come late to work, we'll deduct 20 dirhams. Those are at least
Yes, understandable, reasonable.
reasonable.
Okay.
In a case where
Second to last question.
third to last. Okay. In a case where two employees fight in a company and it resulted to let's call it a severe situation. Of course, the police gets involved and one party is let go. When I mean let go, like sacked, and the other party is left. If, for example, the person that was sacked feels like I want to challenge this judgment, can they still go ahead to challenge it before the law, or whatever happens there, it ends there?
Okay. Now, in a case of fighting, it's quite. What should be done by the company first and foremost? There should be an investigation conducted.
Okay.
The investigation must be conducted, and for that dismissed employee, the dismissed employee must be given in writing reasons why they found he or she should be dismissed based on the investigation conducted. And after that, the company ought to notify Mori that this employee has been dismissed based on 1, 2, 3. We saw through the camera, blah, 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 that he did 1, 2, 3, 4. So they will notify Mori, and it's binding.
It's fine.
But if the employer just say you are dismissed, it's not. It's illegal dismissal.
Okay.
It should be in writing, and first and foremost, investigation must be conducted.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that again.
Let me take it further. We have some people that are working and they are not being given day offs. Some people, they are working no day offs. Some people are working overtime and they are not being paid for that overtime. Is that allowed?
That's illegal. Even under the law provides for 48 hours in every week.
For day off?
Yeah. No. An
Work
employee
week.
should not work more than 48 hours. And at least they should have 1 day of rest.
In a week?
In a week. They should have 1 day of rest. Anything aside from that becomes
illegal.
Overtime.
Okay.
It can be classified as overtime.
Okay.
But an employee should not work more than 2 weeks at a stretch.
Okay.
You are permitted, but overtime comes with payment. If, for example, the normal closing hour is this, are of course provided under the labor law, but at the end it depends on whether the company will respect it
or not,
and the employees will keep their evidence that the company is not respecting this. For example, the employee ought to close by 7 and closes by 9. Certain times things it may be agreed amicably between both parties. Well, it's fine because you want your company to grow, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, I do that. Everyone, but certain times when it becomes like
a norm,
it should be paid. You should be paid at least 25% extra for the overtime.
25% on basic
of the on that day's salary. Then if the employee is working on weekend, should be paid at least 50%.
Why is he saying?
The way this is paying attention, you know, saying assessment by daytime and the content creator by night.
I'm an employee, my brother.
The way you are paying attention.
I said I don't read the law. Read.
I need
70% of basic.
Should be paid actually. Then if the employee is working on public holiday, you have to pay double
of them.
salary. When it's a public.
The public holiday, Actually, sorry to butt in. Actually, companies that are standard company, they keep to all these laws.
Yes.
I worked here with a company, and my 6 years of working with that company, everything is paid for. Overtime is paid for, even if it is 1 hour overtime. if you come to night duty, maybe we need to re-merchandise the store, like Dubai Mall was part of the visual merchandisers. It was paid for. Public holiday, it was paid off. But you see all this one-man company, all these
That one man
small company, now them they always they default and don't want to pay people.
Because they don't have standard HR. So most times they don't even know what is applicable. You just go ahead and do whatever comes to mind.
The funny thing is that the employees, they believe that this is the law.
But
because their company
tell them
that this is the law. You are not entitled. They believe that.
Thank you so much.
At the end, they said, no, it doesn't work in UAE. It's just text. Their companies keeping stricto sensu with the law. They are complying with it.
Sometimes managers, supervisors bring their own policy, pretending it is the company's policy or it's UAE's policy. That's why
police will not make their research. They won't call More. Is this okay? Or contact a lawyer. But you have More. If you can't get a lawyer, contact More. They will help you. They will guide you.
See, this law, law and crime, I mean crime and law. This labor matter. If we keep talking about it, we'll spend the whole day here, and we have spent more than 1 hour in this particular topic. And I don't think we have really, dealt with this issue the way it should.
Even the surface.
We have not started at all. Thank you very much, Lawyer Amaka. We will like to bring you here one more time or as many times as possible so that we can continue to understand the law, because updates. UAE, they update their labor law every time. Like I said earlier, they hold labor law strongly. I think it is the ministry they pay attention to more than every other ministry. So thank you very much once again. And anytime we call you, please do honor our call and come and teach our people the law. We need to know the law. Like you mentioned earlier, that a lot of people still have that belief that as they are working with this company, they have to pay for their visa. And company, on the other hand, rogue employees, on the other hand, they will say it is because the employee took a loan. And a lot of people don't know this thing. And these things are happening behind them on documents. So, like she will always say, know your rights and know the law. My name is Amaka Joy. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this.
Thank you very much. I want to ask
the last question.
Before you thank you very much. Lawyer Amaka, I want to ask someone that is watching this podcast today now, this your practice, do you branch into Nigerian kind of settlement and law? For example, we have this issue with Nigerian visa in UAE. Do you have any knowledge, any foresight, any legal advice to give to us to tackle this thing?
We'll sue Nigeria to court.
You want to sue Nigeria?
Should I already ask you on which ground?
Okay, first and foremost, my comment regarding this issue, I think we are lacking specifically bilateral relationship between two countries.
We have been talking
It's key. And secondly, another problem which I see is how Nigeria is portrayed on social media. How Nigeria is portrayed. So many, if you watch most of these news, you will not see.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Like, I could remember when I came into the country, the first boss I worked with was like, when he saw like the buildings where I was, when I showed him, oh, this is where I stay in Nigeria. I was like, is this in Nigeria?
The same Nigeria?
It felt like Nigeria was like bush. Really? Because of what, except you go and really search. But based on what they see on the news, they don't see the good part. They only see all those rubbish. Ajegule. That is what is always on the news. Or news of kidnapping, news of... Fine, I'm not covering up, but I believe those things that happen in other
everywhere.
So first and foremost, I'll say for that, the bilateral relationship is left for our government to resolve that. We can on our own push. It's left for our government to resolve that. But that of the publicity, each and every Nigerian needs to take it as a responsibility upon themselves.
Yes. Right.
to help. Then that comes to another layer, our character, attitude. What's fine? Let me talk about crime. I'm a lawyer. I know what I've seen in the legal profession. If you are the UAE government,
you think twice.
Yes.
That is, I know I don't want to say a lot of things. So that is what, if you certain times I'm just quiet because I know a lot of things that it's not right. You can't leave your country to come here
and cannot represent your country very well.
It is wrong. So it's now a responsibility, but it's not good if maybe the errors of some persons are being generalized on others. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's left for the good ones to portray in your workplace, wherever you are. Portray like my previous boss in my previous workplace. That was about 7 years ago. Whenever I go to his office, he introduces me to whosoever is there, whether it's client, whether it's new staff, he will introduce me round. He'll say, this Amaka Joy is the best employee I've ever had. If every Nigerian...
That's such record.
So, if we can do this, me, you, each and every one of us can represent Nigeria. And also, let's mind what we publish.
Very, very important.
Yes, it's very wide. Lots of only publish and spread the negative aspect. Let's limit this. We may think, okay, we are doing good.
We are creating content.
We are creating what is happening, but we are creating more harm than good to the country. There are certain persons being arrested from other nationalities. But when it's published everywhere, this will share, that will share. It's not good. We all need to try. Let's regulate our social media. If it even means paying people, it's something the government should do. Pay the media. There's someone who gave me this. Let them publish about your country. Let publish about your country.
Give your country good publicity.
But what we are doing, it's there up there, it's not really nice. If you don't have any good information about Nigeria with what you see on social media,
you just buy it.
You just buy this country. No. This country is full. They will not know there are lots of good people and good things happening in this country.
In Nigeria. And it is so sad. If you, I hope that Minister of Tourism Nigeria will watch this and take something home from it, because it is so sad that we don't even have a social media account, an official Ministry of Tourism of the social media. And if you do have, you will not see anything there. You will not see the beautiful places, sites we have in Nigeria. Even Nigerians have not visited them.
They don't even know.
Is that terrible? If you go to our embassy website, the pictures there.
Then get website.
Some Nigeria, there was one post I saw on LinkedIn, and a guy, he highlighted some tourist attractions in Nigeria. I was like, wow. I had to even share
with people. There are lots of them now springing up.
He was like, so if we can put up more of this about the beautiful, not agent advertising illegal visa.
I know.
And you make it open that this is illegal. Everybody knows it. It's still part of
the problem.
It's still part of the problem. Yeah. Even leading to this visa problem. If I start on this issue, I don't think it's part of it.
Yes.
If you're making visas for people, you tell them it's freelance. You should ensure that they know what type of visa
they are
if
getting.
They paid it for freelance, if they can afford it. Tell them what it is. And most of them that they are purchasing this, they don't even know.
That's the truth.
They don't make their research to know what.
Just wants to be here legally, so
at least know what you got.
And I think it's
illegal.
And I think it's actually the work of the agent to be upfront about the kind of visa they are selling to you, so that you know what you're getting yourself into.
That is even if the agent knows what he is doing.
Even the agent doesn't even know that.
They don't know. Agent don't get visa with the sell visa.
I put sometime.
Don't get visa. They make visa.
Was it sometime last year? I put it up and said, if you are working without an NOC, If you are working with just an NOC, you have your visa in another company, and you are just working with NOC, you are working illegally.
Yes, I made a video like that too.
It's like, no, it is, what are you saying? My agent advised we can get NOC. No, you have to get your work permit. It has to be permitted by Mori.
Under the new company.
So there are lots of things that need to do.
We need to have you back. We need to bring you back
again and again and again and again, because the matter deep. The matter is very deep, and we can't.
Very insightful.
Very insightful
Conversation. Guys, leave your comment and ask her what you
exactly
and also they can follow her on our social media platform at Lawyer Amaka.
It is not just to follow. You need to consult her on everything. Any documents they give to you in whatever business area or whatever you're doing, and it has to do with agreement or contractual binding, you have to contact a lawyer to read it. You can never be more brilliant than the people who studied the main thing. Contact her. She's here, and she's from Africa. She's from Nigeria. She's our own. She's always available. So it is not just to follow her. So you are following her, consume her content. She gives free consultation on her social media. I follow her more from the first day where I don't see her. My name is Amaka Joy. Know your law and know your rights. Now I don't press follow.
Content.
Now I don't press follow. I've been following her, and I'm learning a lot from her, because of course I'm still employee. Maybe one day I'll open my own company. But thank you very much, guys, for watching this episode. Subscribe, like, comment, share to your friends and family, so that they will also learn and understand their rights as well. See you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.